The Greenskins are coming back to Warhammer Old World, and I, as a big Greenskin player, here they are. Well, I'm not actually green-skinned, but as a Greenskin player, I am so excited for this, and I'm probably going to go bankrupt. So January was a really big hobby month for me. I got loads and loads of stuff done. And one thing I recently did with the release of Old World is I picked up some old Orcs and Goblins sets from eBay. I managed to get all of these archers, and I also got this awesome shaman as well. And basically I got them all stripped down, and then I got them all reprimed, and then I went back through the painting and stuff. And about, like 3 days before the announcement from Games Workshop, I bought these, and then they announced it, and then I became even more excited. So if you're not in the know, Games Workshop announced that Orcs and Goblins are coming back to the old world, and they're releasing so many of the old kits. I know they did a pretty good job with like Bretonia and Tomb Kings as well, but when it comes to Orcs and Goblins, oh my, they have a lot of stuff. They've got like all the plastic kits are coming back, they've got some old metal ones coming back but in resin, they've got all the old metal kits coming back, and then they've got loads of made-to-order kits coming as well. My personal thing that I'm most excited about is the old stone trolls. I have always really wanted one of those, and I've just never managed to get hold of them. They're always really expensive. So fingers crossed they're not going to be too bank breaking, but I'm definitely going to be picking some of those up. Like I mentioned, recently I picked up a whole bunch of stuff from eBay. So I got my shaman, I also got my arrow boys, I also got a bunch of squigs and a couple of stone trolls, but the new stone trolls. So I'm really excited to be able to get my hands on some of those old school sculpts. So I am going to be going full blast on Orcs and Goblins. So if you're into the old world and you're into Orcs and Goblins, then watch this space. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff there. Going back to the stuff I got from eBay, I really like the way these all painted up. I've been doing a lot of practicing just to kind of figure out the schemes that I'm going to go for. I restored my Orcs and Goblins army, like I don't know if it was last year or the year before, and I quite like it, but it's not up to the scratch that I would like. So I'm really happy with the way these turned out. Have a couple of shots in the B-roll, and I'll do a painting video as well in the future, just so you've got that too. I've also printed off a bunch of terrain and everything to go with my Orcs and Goblins. So I've got like these huts, got a shaman hut to go as well. So I'm gonna get all of that painted up, and that way hopefully I'll have lots of terrain to go with it all, and then fingers crossed, put a battle together. Other bits that I have been doing in my hobbying is I am finally going to try, I say I will game, but I probably never will, but Warcry is always talked about as like this really great standard of skirmish gaming. So I picked up the Hunter and Hunted set, and I painted up all of the kind of rabid ogres from that. And I love these sculpts. These are amazing. They went together really nicely, they painted up really nicely, and I'm really happy with the paint scheme that I got from these. And then I painted up all the humans in that set and all their doggies. I really like those as well. So for the first time like ever, I think I managed to get a set, and within a couple of weeks, I put the whole thing together and painted it. Like everything in the box is painted, even like the moor pit. So I'm really happy with myself. Now I need to print off some more terrain, and I started printing off all this like graveyard terrain, and I figured that'd be great, but it doesn't add much verticality. Verticility doesn't go up and down very much. So it looks cool, but I haven't painted it up because I wanted to get something instead that will give me more up and down space, because I can't say the other word. But I really like this set. Again, painted it all up. I've done a painting video for it, and I'll get that out in the future as well if you guys want to see that. But I love these ogres. These look fantastic. They're like undead style ogres. Really impressive sculpts, and I love them. Other things that I did in my hobby time is I put together the big old starport for Legions Imperialis, and this thing came out so well. I was having to do loads of like drafts as to what I wanted it to look like, and I had some ideas in my head, but in the end I'm really happy with the result of this, and I will go on to expand on it as well. But the basic premise is it's like part of a big spaceport that can go onto your battlefield, and then I can make it modular so that way I can add more bits beneath it. But so far it's looking pretty cool. My problem with Legions Imperialis at the moment, I don't know if this is going to be controversial or not, is I kind of think it's a dead game already. It almost feels like it was dead on arrival, and Games Workshop have just not looked after it. First up, it was delayed, and by the way, I just want to say that I really hope it's not a dead game, because it's a really fun game and I love the miniatures for this. So if it's a dead game, I'm going to cry like a lot, because it's like the game that I managed to actually get into, so I'll be really disappointed if it dies. But it got delayed first time, which is fine, things happen. But then it seemed to get delayed into Old World launching as well, which was never going to be a good thing. Games Workshop cannot produce things fast enough for the amount of people that are buying it. So it made no sense to me that they released Legions Imperialis and then like literally the month after Old World came out. That's a lot of stuff for them to produce. Then they announced the expansion to Legions Imperialis, but they announced that at the same time as I still couldn't buy anything for Legions Imperialis. I had the box set and I picked up like a Titan as well, but I still couldn't buy like all the basic units, and it was really frustrating. And then they announced this, and the expansion was coming out. And then the expansion got announced that it had been delayed indefinitely. So we have no idea when that's going to come out, which kind of makes sense because Old World came out and that seems to be taking the limelight. And the other thing that makes me think it's a dead game is it's hard to buy anything for at the moment because it's just not available or ever in stock. But if you go on the Games Workshop website or Warhammer.com, the new redesigned awful website, it has like the list of games. So you've got like 40k, you've got Age of Sigmar, you've got Old World on there, and then tucked away, hidden away in the corner of shame under other games is Legions Imperialis. So it's even hard to kind of find it, which I don't know, I might be reading too much into it, but it does frustrate me because it's a great game. I love the miniatures for it. There was always that fear that it would be too much of a niche game, and then there was always the bit that kind of went around it as well of it's in the Horus Heresy rather than being epic 40k. So if it was epic 40k, it would have probably had more of an appeal. So I don't know, it might have died on arrival. I really hope it's not. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think it's dead? Do you think I'm just being stupid? I often am stupid, so that wouldn't surprise me. But there's just so many things there. If it's been delayed, it's still hard to buy for. Just look at the comparison between Old World, for example, that came out with the 2 sets, and how quickly the Orcs and Goblins bits got announced and are most likely coming out. They're meant to be coming out very soon. And that kind of worries me that Legions Imperialis that got delayed, you still can't really buy things for. Its expansion got delayed and now indefinitely. So it's not looking good. But if it does keep going, and to be fair, I will still keep playing it and I will still keep building things for it because I'm really enjoying building all the terrain and the city and everything else. It's not going to be gone from the channel. But if it dies, that would be really sad. Oh, Legions Imperialis. And I guess the final thing that I've been doing is messing around with these regiment movement trays and stuff like that. I know when I did my Orcs and Goblins army restoration, loads of people were like, why did you move them all onto round bases? And that's because I figured I might play some Age of Sigmar, which I never did. And then I was like, I'm not moving them all back onto square bases. Now I'm going to end up with loads of things that are mismatched. So I'm going to have loads of round bases. I'm going to have loads of square bases. I should just go for like hex bases just to really drive everybody mad, and nobody will like me then. But I figured why not make these, and this is like the first draft of it, and I've got others now that are much smaller. And basically it takes the round bases and lets me put them into rectangular regiment trays instead. So it basically adapts all my round bases and makes them fit for Old World as well. So that way if I want to play Age of Sigmar in the future, if I ever try and actually learn a game, I'll be able to. But if I also want to include them with this, it means I don't have to mess around with bases too much. And they're pretty fun because, they're all made and they print off like this, so that way they start off black and then there's a bit of grey and then a bit of white on top. I've also done some like brown swampy ones as well that go with my Orcs and Goblins. So it just means that my regiment trays don't look like just plain old wood like I was using beforehand, or just plain old plastic. They've got a little bit of life to them, and I like them. It just helps to take that indecisiveness, because that's my main problem. I'm indecisive. I don't know, am I going to go full blown into Old World and have just square bases? Or will I eventually go back to Age of Sigmar? I can't decide. So why not do something that gives me that flexibility to do both? This seems to be working pretty well so far. So that is my hobby news from January. I did a lot of painting. A guy painted like 40 or 50 models, which is really impressive for me. And I managed to get a whole set completed of a new game. And once Orcs and Goblins release, I am going to go wild on Orcs and Goblins. I'm having some thoughts over that. And it's going to be my birthday soon as well. So that way, anybody who cares about me, I'm going to be like, just Orcs and Goblins. More Orcs and Goblins. All of the Orcs and Goblins. And it's going to be, it's going to be a green month. So, thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. And while you're down there, if you want to grab one of these t-shirts by Into the AM, I've also got my discount code and the link down there as well. A little bit of a kickback helps the channel out a load. And yeah, hopefully I will see you in the next one. Let me know, are you going to be collecting any Orcs and Goblins? If you are, what are you most excited for from this set? Because there's so much to be excited for. Do you think Legions Imperialis is going to be a dead game? I hope not, but it's looking that way so far. And yeah, what are you working on this month? Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Ta-ra, bye.